Hi survivors, it's me Prepper Zen and I'm reporting to you. Y'all, today I want to talk about some things that you can do to prepare for when that grid goes down. Because it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. We see what we're dealing with, we see these agendas, we see all these things that to me it allegedly has been designed to intentionally make our lives less convenient, more uncomfortable, more complicated. So with us knowing these things, it would behoove us to just prepare for it. When you get prepared for things and you're ready when these things occur, that sets you way further than most people who are not taking these things seriously, or who just doesn't see the problems. There's a lot of people, unfortunately, they don't see that it's a problem. Matter of fact, a lot of people are going along with the mandates. They're going along with the powers that be. Then you have a whole lot more of us who are not, and so it just, you will be a step ahead, many steps ahead if you're prepared. I was thinking about what we went through in that Texas winter storm. And I want to share some things that you guys can do now to prepare for when that grid goes down. So many of us rely on that grid. We truly do. And, here in Texas, we've had so many experiences with the grid going down. I know this last storm that hit California, I forget the name of it, even though I have videos about it. When that storm hit, a lot of those people, Louisiana, yeah. A lot of those people left Louisiana and they came here to Texas because the grid was down. It wasn't because, some people in some areas, they did have it was impassable, from the trees. It was just a really windy event, more or less, than flooding. And this is what I got from the locals there, because I don't just listen to that news and go by what they tell me. Of course, we know not to do that. Just listen to that news and make that your main source of information, because it's agendas with a lot of these news stations, and it's a lot of inaccuracy, allegedly. So a lot of them said that they could have just stayed home. It was just their lights. And so I found out in the Texas winter storm, a lot of us didn't have a choice but to stay in our houses during that grid down situation. A lot of us during these storms, we stay in our houses anyway in Texas because we're used to the grid going down. It's nothing to us. That's why we always have our candles, our batteries, our backup generators, and everything that we need in our homes already. So I would like to encourage you guys, just be prepared to bunker down where you are. First of all, it's very costly when you're trying to maneuver around the city, especially if it's during winter months, because I know during the Texas winter storm, it was freezing outside. Not only was it freezing, it was ice everywhere. There were hardly no cars on the road but me, because I'm reporting. So, and it was very icy, y'all. When I tell you, the whole city was just dark and black. And if it wasn't for the headlights on that car, I wouldn't have been able to see anything. And I don't encourage you to do that. But, I report to you guys. So, just be prepared to just bunker down where you are. Have all the supplies that you need on hand. If you have backup energy sources, that's even better. I recommend solar generators. They're quiet. They last long. Those gas generators are loud. I remember before I got a solar generator, I had gas generators, and I'll be so afraid that somebody was going to come and take it, because people are desperate during those times. They don't want their family and themselves cold or hot, or having to be without ways to cook. Those who are unprepared and they hear that generator, they might want to come, they might just try to come and get it. I'm trying to tell you. So those gas generators are loud, and not only are they loud, but they consume so much gas. And then it's hard finding gas during those times because the grid is down. So you have a lot of these gas stations that don't have backup generators, and they cannot give out gas or sell the gas. And then when you do find a gas station open, the lines are so long, the prices are so high, you have people fighting to get the gas. I've seen this, I've experienced it here in Texas. with all these storms and when the grid goes down. So I wrote some things. Y'all be patient with me. I want y'all to write these things down because it's a lot. Or take your phone now and record what I'm saying because it's a lot. And I'm trying to hit every area. And if it's something I'm missing, y'all please type it out. Type it up in that comment section. We're here to help each other, y'all. We have to seriously prepare for what lies ahead. And if we don't have a long time to prepare for it, they coming at us. Attack after attack after attack after attack. So these are some of the things that I jotted down. Look at my hair, I got this lint on my hair. So before they shut down the grid. And I say before they do it, and that's allegedly because ERCOT, our main energy provider in the whole state of Texas, they admitted that they purposely shut down the grid. And that man got fired too. A lot of them, I don't even think Texas uses ERCOT anymore. They said in order to protect that grid, they shut everything down, you know. So they gonna protect their money, y'all. They don't care about you. They don't care about us. They care about their money. So before they shut it down, I already said the solar generator. That's one of the main items that I would suggest if you can't afford to get it. If not, there's other things that you can do. Battery operated fans, just in case it's hot, you know, some areas like Arizona, you know what I mean? They don't really have winters and stuff, and just in case it's hot and you need some kind of way of producing something for you and your family to stay cool, you know. And I always keep bags, I always keep ice in my freezer too, y'all. Ice is a very important, and it's a hot commodity for when that grid goes down, especially here in Texas in the summertime. So if you're in states that are hot most of the time, I would suggest you keep ice and you keep a cooler on hand. You crank radio. Of course, your food and water. You should always make sure you have at least those who can, at least the minimum to me would be 3 months. But if you have at least a couple of weeks or at least a month's supply of food and clean water, that would take you. Because I know during those times, y'all, the grid was down, the roads were impassable. There were no places you can go and get food. There was just nowhere you can go and get food. And the next day, I know they had long lines at the grocery store, y'all. Y'all go back to my videos at the Walmart that I showed. It was no food there. There was no water there. They had to throw out a lot of stuff because it went bad. And then trucks couldn't get into the city to bring food and supplies because the roads were impassable. Everything was icy. You know, nobody can get out, nobody can get in, you know. And so this when self-reliance kick in, you know. So your crank radio, your medical supplies. Y'all, a lot of people passed during that Texas winter storm because they didn't have oxygen. They didn't have ways to plug up their oxygen tanks. Make sure you have a backup energy source. If you have loved ones you're caring for, or if you're in that state yourself where you need oxygen, and different people who are on dialysis, you know, if you're on dialysis and I don't know, you know, what to do to tell you, maybe you can find out other places that maybe have backup generators, or be close, make sure where you live is close to a center that provide this service for you. Because a lot of people with medical needs, they unfortunately passed during that, and they have a lot of big lawsuits right now, their loved ones do, because of it, because they didn't have the things that they need. You know, a lot of people couldn't go out and get the medication that they need. This is why I listened to some nursing preppers, and they said that they would tell their patients to take half of their pill. You always consult with your physician, but with taking half of your pill, you know, if it suffices for your body, for what your body needs, for your medical needs, you can save a lot of your medications, you know. But make sure, I know they only give, you know, you a limited amount every month, and you have to wait for the next month, you know, to get your medications. But try to make sure you have these things that you need. And if not with the medication, try to see if you talk to your physician about what you should do. But you need to do that now. Please don't wait, especially those, y'all, if you have pre-existing conditions. You know, I know how difficult that is because my mother, she has a lot of things going on with her. Alzheimer's, high blood pressure. I mean, just a lot of different things, you know. And so I have to stay equipped with a lot of different things that she needs, y'all. My daughter, I had to get a humidifier for her asthma. I had to get it's this portable machine for my mother breathing treatment, a nebulizer. I had to get one of those. You know, it was very expensive, but I have these things on site. So God forbid, like when that grid goes down or whatnot, I'm still able to give, you know, her treatments, and I don't have to worry about that. So y'all try to do what you have to do right now. You know, contacting your physician, finding out if you can get an extra supply of medication, finding out, you know, what sources, what things you need to do to make sure you could still take care of your medical needs. Please do that. If you're in an area that's cold, like up northeast, you know, it gets really, really cold up there in the north, you know, and even in the south, if it gets too cold during the winter, because we seeing all the weather manipulation, we seeing all allegedly, we seeing certain things go on with the weather that we've never experienced in our lives. Like in Texas, we never experienced it being freezing cold in February. Never. You need to turn off your main water source. And I tell you to do this. When you turn it off, make sure your faucet is on for at least 20 to 30 minutes. That way it drains out the excessive water in the pipes. If you don't do this, those pipes will burst. And I'm telling you, a lot of people lost their homes during the Texas winter storm because nobody was knowledgeable of that. Make sure if it gets cold in your area and it's a grid down situation, even if it's not a grid down situation, but mostly if it's a grid down situation, turn off your water pipes from the main source. Find out now, find out today, where's the main source of where you can turn your water off or on. I know in Texas, most of the time it's in our front yard. You know, like when a water company comes to, you have to have that water key. If you have that type of situation, if you're in one of those areas where you need a water key to turn your main source on or off, I would suggest you go get that water key. It's called a water key, but it's like a long tool, and at the bottom of it, it has like the key where it turns your water source on and off. You would save thousands of dollars, and you might just save your home doing this. This is very important. That prevents busted pipes and your roof from caving in on you. Candles, of course. Batteries, of course. Flashlights, of course. These are some things. Sweaters, blankets, socks, warm gloves, hats, scarves. If you're in a place where it gets cold, even if you're in a place that doesn't get cold, let me go ahead and say that, because Texas didn't get cold. We don't really get cold, but something happened with the weather. Y'all know exactly where I'm coming from. And they froze us out here. And a lot of us were not ready for it. A lot of us did not. Me, since I go back and forth to New York and Houston, I already had a lot of the gloves, hats, mittens, you know, the sweaters, the blankets. Make sure you have plenty of blankets as well. I had a lot of those things already at hand. Ways to be able to cook. If you have gas if your stove if you have gas in your house and not just electric, you are already 4 or 5 steps ahead of the game. You know, a lot of people, when we go and get these apartments and homes and condos, we don't look for that. We don't think it's even necessary, y'all, but it's very necessary. Even if you home shopping right now, or if you move and you downsize, try to make sure wherever you're going has gas. Because I'm telling you, gas is a very, very important resource right now during these times. For when the grid goes down, or for when there's a weather related situation, which we know these things are happening back to back to back to back to back to back. With gas and gas stoves, you can still cook. It produces heat in the house so you won't be cold. You can still have hot water. You know, these things are very, very important. And then I'm going to get to those steps why it's important to have some hot water. But if not, it's other things to do. Keep your gas tanks filled. If you have cars, keep them full with gas at all times. Even when everything is peaches and cream and it's beautiful and it's a hot sunny day and we don't have all these problems we have to deal with, even though we're dealing with things on a daily basis, keep them gas tanks full. If your gas tanks start going down to half, it's time to go fill it back up. And you want to be doing that now anyway and limiting your driving, because the gas prices they're not going to do nothing but keep on getting higher and higher and higher. And I wouldn't want to keep on feeding this beast system my money like that. There is no way. Portable stoves. I have like the little butane stove. It runs on butane fuel. I got it on Amazon for like, I think 20 bucks or something like that. Works very fine. Used it last year during a tornado, you know. I know a lot of people in Texas have barbecue pits, but in a grid down situation, you might not want to use the barbecue pit because there'll be people that be hungry. And if they smell you out, if they smell that you out there barbecuing, you know, it's no telling what kind of situation it may turn out to be. But then also, they also have these little gel burners at the dollar store. I got plenty of them in my storage, where you could just light the gel and it's gonna, you know, start a fire, and you can cook with those. I showed y'all a lot of videos of that, me doing that in New York when I had to go back and forth before I had got some real estate up there. But y'all saw me doing that because the prices of food in New York is too ridiculous. I was not about to keep on spending my money like that. Y'all, I took them gel burners. They have them all in dollar stores all over the place. I got some from Houston and in New York. I lit them, and I had keep you some pots where you can cook on too, especially, you know, I put something down, put the pot over it. I was making me all kinds of homemade soups, and it saved me probably thousands of dollars over the summer last year, just having that. Make sure you keep that on stock with you. Make sure you have things to do with your children. You want to keep your children calm, you know, especially if you have never been in a grid down situation. They will freak out. I'm telling you, if you don't keep them calm and stay calm, with you being calm, that keeps your children calm. So I like to encourage that. With my daughter, I was always hugging her, kissing. Oh, it's all right, baby. We had board games to play. You know, we had, even though it was some you know, dark in the house at night sometimes before we got generators when she was younger, you know, I would, with the candles and flashlights, I would read her books, you know. So make sure that you have something to do with your children and with your family during these times, instead of just waiting and panicking and just sitting there not knowing what to do. Of course, you don't want to stay on your devices, even if you have portable chargers for your devices, because those portable chargers can go out too. And you want to use and keep your phones and your laptops fully charged, you know. So if you have to get on and be able to communicate to somebody on social media. I know in Houston, during a lot of these Texas winter storms, a lot of people got help because they still had access on their phones where they could tell people where they were, they needed help, this was going on, that was going on. So you want to keep those devices fully charged, even when it's not a weather-related incident or a grid down incident. I keep I'm so used to going through grid down situations and all types of weather-related incidents here in Texas. So I keep, and my daughter does too, we keep our devices fully charged. Of course, plenty of non-perishables. Plenty of non-perishables foods, you know. And also you want to keep cooked food. This would have saved people a lot of money. This would have kept a lot of people from not being hungry during the storms and during the grid down situation. A lot of us in Texas, we keep cooked food in our freezer. So something happened, we already have food cooked. We're not worried about it. You know, as far as I'm concerned, we wouldn't have to go in those preps and be eating those canned goods or whatever the case is. And as far as a lot of people are concerned, they wouldn't have to do that. I had friends on when they found out that certain storms were coming to our area, you know, a week before or 3 or 4 days before. If you find out on time, if you're getting your information from like Weatherman Plus, because the local news, they don't tell you until like a day or two before these things happen. But they be out there barbecuing, making all kinds of barbecue, and they'll put it up. And so when that storm occurred, they have plenty of food. So I would suggest you always keep some food cooked. Always keep some food cooked. Of course, backup energy sources for your devices, for your phones, for your laptops, and things of that nature. Ways to purify your water. Y'all, this is very important. Please have ways to purify your water, because once that grid comes back on, first of all, the water goes down too. Then when the water comes back on, it is nasty. Y'all, I'm talking about literally. You could see feces and you could smell the urine and you could see how the dark, just the nastiness, the water would be like brown. It'd be so disgusting. We could not, a lot of us didn't have, a lot of them didn't have clean water because I have ways of purifying my water and I keep a whole bunch of clean water on site. I keep water for cooking, I keep water for cleaning, I keep water for brushing my teeth, I keep water for washing my face. Like I don't play when it comes to water, and I always live somewhere where there's a big body of water not too far from me. That's on purpose, I do that. Because water is important. Your food, your body can go without food for a long time, but it can't go without water. So water is something I take very, very, very seriously. And you guys should too. Make sure right now you have plenty of water. Don't play with this system, y'all. I've seen the evilness. I felt it. Especially during this Texas winter storm. That was intentionally done to us. I'm going to say allegedly, but y'all know what it is. You know, that was horrific. Make sure you have ways of purifying your water. It was a boil water alert for a long time. In certain areas, in poverty-stricken areas, those people didn't even have water. Their water was so nasty, and they went without water for a couple of months. Some of the people had to leave or move or something. It was really, really horrible. And your local news station is not going to report these things. They're not going to tell you. But I'm telling you what happened. You don't want to be in that type of situation. Have you ways of purifying your water, whether it's a Berkeley? Have you some water purification tablets? Have you a whole bunch of water already right now? You need to be doing these things like right now. Have cash on hand. You should always keep you some cash on hand right now. These things are very important, and also things to barter. You know, cash on hand because the grid is down. You can't go to the ATM machine. It's not working. You know, you can't go to the ATM machine in the stores because the store's not even open. You know, and when they do open, I remember one time in Houston, the grocery store was open, but the lights were out. You couldn't pay with anything with your food stamp card. You couldn't pay for anything with your credit card, your bank card, your debit card. You had to have cash on hand. And with whatever they had left in the store, because the lines were so long, by the time you get in the store, there was nothing in the stores. So always make sure you have cash on hand. Even with the price gouging, y'all, the price gouging is severe when the grid go down. Because you have hotels that's charging you a lot of money. Some people are just not used to being uncomfortable. You know, they're not used to their lights being on and their water being hot and they can't cook. So a lot of people was running to them hotels. You know, and it really wasn't a lot of hotels, and the ones that were available, they were overpriced. And some of them, the grid went down. I was in a hotel one time, and when the grid went down, they didn't even have a backup generator. So you sit up, and then they wanted you to keep on paying the days that you still had left there to stay, that you were still there with no lights. And I tell you, I've been through a whole lot of that. I'm trying to tell you, make sure you have your vitamins so you can stay healthy, and also that you can replace, you know, the missing nutrients that you're getting in your body, especially for those who are eating out of their canned goods, you know, because they, you know, those canned goods are high in sodium. But I mean, they'll do the job to keep you not hungry. But you know, a lot of times we miss a lot of nutrients when the grid is down because we're not cooking, you know, you're not making your healthy meals. And I would suggest, you know, talk to your doctor about it, but taking vitamins on a daily basis anyway. I've been taking vitamins for a very, very long time. It helps you look youthful, helps you stay youthful acting, keeps you well energized. You know, you're getting the vitamins and the minerals and the things that you need for your body. I think I pretty much covered a lot of things. Oh, the maintenance of your car. These things are important. If you're in a grid down situation and you're not in an area where the roads are icy and impassable or it's flooding and whatnot, and you need to go out in your car to find supplies and find things or just to get away, make sure you have an oil change in your car. Make sure your tires are good. You know, y'all might want to do that now if you had the money to do it. Change your tires. Make sure your tires are straight. Make sure you have an oil change. Make sure you have ways and tools to change your tire if something happens to one of your tires. Y'all, you can't call nobody, no tow trucks, or nothing. They're not coming. They're not out there. You know, make sure the maintenance is upkept. Make sure you have battery cables. So, you know, I have portable battery cables, and I suggest you get those too. So if your battery goes down, because like when it got so cold out here in Texas, our cars weren't used to that. A lot of our cars, we had to crank them up, you know, charge the battery cables because they got so cold. You know, you want to make sure, and also in your car, keep you some food, some non-perishable food, and keep you plenty of water. Y'all keep a trunk full of water. I'm just really serious when it comes to water. and when it comes to food, and when it comes to prepping. You know, so these things that'll keep you a step ahead of the game. And of course, you always stay prayerful. You always stay prayerful. You always stay prayerful. And then you keep some type of ways to protect yourselves. Weapons. You know, you have to make sure of this, y'all. And I make sure that myself because, like I said, you know, I was a single mother for a very long time. I had to protect my family. If something happened, y'all, it got so dark during that Texas winter storm. Anybody could have did anything. I'm pretty sure there was a lot of crime in the city during that time. They're not going to report it all, but y'all, I'm telling you, I stayed on watch. I stayed up at night. I went to sleep during the day. My daughter was up during the day. I stayed on watch. And we had security systems in place. I wasn't worried about it. I have a gate where you can't just come to my front door anyway, but still, you know, we stayed on watch. So you make sure you have ways of defending yourself. And security systems are good, y'all, if you can afford it. If not, you know, maybe a lot of y'all, some people may have a dog. The dog to me was my best security ever. My dog and my tot, the things I have, if somebody come up and try to, you know, in Texas, yeah, we're really notorious for that. We don't play that game. I know a lot of you guys don't either. Make sure that you can protect yourselves and protect your families, y'all. So these are some things that I want to share with you. I'll be coming back with more and more videos of some things that you can do, or we all can do, in order to prepare for these rough times that we have ahead. I want to talk to y'all. I know the other day I had missed out with the housing when I said stop spending now. I listened to the video over and I forgot, because you know I'm in real estate, so I forgot to also recommend those of you guys who are paying mortgages and you don't want to lose your home because you've already invested a lot of money in your home. A lot of homes to me could be assets, y'all. I've used houses for a lot of things to produce a lot of money for myself. If you can, I know people who've done this too. They rented out that house. They went and downsized, found a small apartment or a small house or something. They rented out their house to either somebody else. You can't find nobody to rent it. You can do the Airbnb thing. I forgot to suggest that to y'all. I've done that plenty of times, made a lot of money. You know, but you got to make sure that you're in a decent location. You can't do Airbnbs if you're in hoods. Because most time when they Googling, and Airbnb does this too, if they Googling their address and if it's in a bad area, you out of there. You know, so I want to suggest that too, if you in areas like New York, you know, people come to New York and they know what's going on in New York, but they'll still come. You know, a lot of people just love New York. You know what I'm saying? That's a major tourist location. And I got property out there just for that. You know what I'm saying? You can do Airbnb, y'all. You can make a lot of money. You can, if you have another place to stay while you Airbnb-ing it out, or you can stay in your car for that night, or if you have an RV, that way you'll keep your money and or whatever, you know. So yeah, y'all, let's just help one another. There's all kinds of ideas and things that we could do to save our money. I don't know if they still do the couponing thing. A lot of y'all, if you lost your income, you might want to try to get you some like the government programs. If you have babies, you know, they have WIC. You can get the WIC. You can get the food stamps and stuff like that. But you might want to hurry up and get it if you're in certain areas before they tell you you have to in order to be able to get food and stuff. Because I saw that going on out there in New York, y'all, and I reported it to y'all too. They said if you didn't have that, you can go in some of those stores and whatnot that had food. But you know, if you've lost a lot of your income, I know a friend of mine, she was telling me she had to go and do it. You know, they don't have no shame in your game. You have to do what you have to do to survive. And with those EBT cards, you can go and get you some preps and stuff right now as well. So y'all, let's if I miss anything, y'all please share it in the comment section. And I hope this was helpful to some of you. For those who don't know what to do in a grid down situation, I would like to encourage a lot of y'all, don't be trying to go here and there and everywhere because you're not used to the grid being down. Try to have everything that you need in your home. You might can stick it out with your family. If you need medical supplies and things of that nature, if you have pre-existing conditions, that's very, very important. Look into those things today. Don't stop until you get the things that you need. You guys keep surviving. Y'all watch the weather. Smell that water. Before you go to cooking in that water and brushing your teeth and washing your face, smell the water. Y'all know what happens to certain people in certain areas with the water. So I know we hear about these things and we ignore these things. Don't ignore these things. It's a plan. It's an evil agenda out there. And y'all know what I feel like they're doing. You take care of yourselves. Keep surviving. ZanHair.com.